Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm obviously Aidan.
I'm Gaynor.
Bit of a new setup today. We've not changed the setup from the watch along, so we're going to get some videos in from here for you today.
Yeah.
Got Lost in the Pond, the secret rules of being an American. What could they be? Should we just get straight into this one?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, but you're not even in my league, mate. America, the land of the free, home of the brave, and for reasons that I've still not figured out, ranch dressing on everything. I moved here 16 years ago, and while I've since discovered that a flannel is called a washcloth, nobody prepared me for the secret rules of being an American.
And I'm not talking about stuff that I saw on the citizenship test. No, these are the bizarre unwritten social codes that govern everyday life.
Like the fact that "what's up" isn't an actual question, but a stand-in for hello. I had to learn that the hard way after responding with "not too good" after last night's White Castle. Meanwhile, one of my own not-so-secret rules is if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, do that now! In the meantime, here are the secret rules of being an American that nobody talks about, except me and occasionally Reddit. In recent times, I've become aware of a particular American, or perhaps even Midwestern phenomenon, the front porch wave.
This one appears to be most common in the suburbs. On several occasions since I moved into this house, I've been walking through my neighbourhood, minding my own business, when suddenly a stranger who's sitting on their porch will raise their hand and wave at me.
My British instincts kicked in, and I immediately
Would
thought...
that not make you think, like, maybe I know them, though?
No, because I found that it's a very American thing that you can't walk, like you can walk past somebody in the street here and not acknowledge them. Over there, you don't really. If you're on a street and somebody walks past you, you go...
Especially if it's in like a suburb street.
Yeah, you go, hey,
I guess
hi.
so.
Do I know this person? Did I miss a social engagement? Do they have posters of me on their wall?
Of course, it turns out I didn't know them. In America, you wave at people that you don't know. It's just a sign of neighborliness.
Yeah.
Stop generalizing Americans, Lawrence, because only a total weirdo would wave at a stranger. And I've just realized I'm pointing at a stranger. But the first few times it happened, I panicked and waved back with all the confidence of a hammer covered in milk.
I'd also have the feeling that they're not even waving at me, and then I'm
you'd be
waving
like
back, and next
looking
thing you know, there's
round.
someone behind me.
Porch wave is part of a broader tradition of American suburban politeness, and sometimes it's even more horrifying than that.
I was just strolling down an ordinary American sidewalk when it happened. A stranger, someone I had never met, had no prior connection to, and honestly had no logical reason to interact with, looked me in the eye and said, "Hello."
I panicked.
Where I come from, this interaction only ever involves a confused tourist or maybe an over-enthusiastic charity worker. You don't expect it from...
I forgot that's where he's from. That's not really a nice place at all, is it?
When I used to go for a walk with my granddad when I was little, everybody you walked past, you'd go, "How do?"
Somebody who lives around the corner. But in America, the gregarious pedestrian is wide rife.
On a separate occasion, another passerby nodded and confidently uttered the phrase, "How's it going?" I was mortified. At first, I thought I'd stumbled into a small town where everybody knew each other, but it wasn't that, because this was a thriving cityscape known as Indianapolis.
Americans, these remarkably sociable people, seem to have perfected the art of the passing greeting.
Damn it, I've lived here my whole life, and I have never greeted somebody while walking. I also don't walk.
Whether it's a simple nod, a hey there, or the slightly more advanced how you doing, which again requires no meaningful response.
My therapist told me that the best way to overcome your fears is to face them. So I've reluctantly started doing it myself. About once a week while walking the dog, I issue my own hello to passers-by, unless it happens to be Suburban Sue, in which case I pretend I haven't seen her. Of course, my newfound politeness has led to some confusion when I visit home and accidentally greet strangers, who then assume that I am a confused tourist, and I suppose in a weird way, I am. Small talk in Britain usually consists of two people agreeing that those clouds over there don't look too good, do they?
If you took away weather from the national discourse, British people would recoil in horror at the mere thought that small talk is even happening.
But in America, small talk is like the 5th most popular sport, just ahead of soccer. Some Americans will talk to anyone, anywhere, about anything. Except for the millions who do not, because talking is overwhelming and people are dumb.
Standing in line at the grocery store, expect a full conversation about your purchases, your weekend plans and occasionally whether or not you're that guy from YouTube.
At first, I didn't know enough small talk to keep up, which forced me to Google, what does de bears mean?
The trick, though, is mastering the right topics. Food? Safe. Sport? Absolutely. But never, and I mean never, bring up politics. Unless that person has a bumper sticker that you happen to agree with, then it's fine.
No, I don't want to make it sound like Americans aren't capable of deep conversation. I mean, I've been the subject of many. It's just they've also turned surface-level chatter into an art form. And it's only once you've mastered it yourself that you can bring up the important stuff like, hello, where can I get edibles for a friend that's into that sort of thing? He's still on the phone. Did you hear that just now? Right, I'm trying to make a video, so can you hang up? We'll get mommy and daddy to hang up then. But over time, I've come to appreciate American small talk for what it is. It's basically about building a brief human connection, or destroying one if they don't get British sarcasm. If there's one thing that Americans guard more fiercely than their freedom, it's their personal space.
In Britain, we're used to cosy queues and cramped public transport, but in America, there seems to be an invisible bubble around everyone.
If you stand too close to somebody at the grocery store, they'll give you a look usually reserved for pickpockets or my wife's cousin Chad.
This obsession with space extends to every aspect of life. Cars are bigger, roads are wider, and personal space isn't just a concept, it might as well be a constitutional right. Am I right?
You obviously didn't go to school here.
Back when I was a stage actor, I thought it would be perfectly fine to hug everybody after the show, which is the only time that hugging is acceptable in Britain. But the American actors just weren't into it, and honestly, neither was I, so absolutely no one won.
If you stand too close while chatting, the other person will slowly retreat, especially if you've run out of Old Spice.
And if you think this is somehow a criticism, think again. Because I also like my space. I mean, why do you think I keep you all 6 feet away from the camera?
Aha! Yes, the infamous American smile. A beacon of warmth, friendliness, and dental insurance.
Now, I'll admit, I don't encounter beaming grins ever since I moved to Chicago, but in Indiana, people would flash dem pearly whites all the time. They don't speak like that.
I mean, all teeth look immaculate to a British person.
And such smiles might be accompanied by a greeting, such as, oh my god, are you British? Or, hello, welcome to Applebee's.
Actually, when it comes to this particular stereotype of Americans, restaurant servers do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Americans that I've known who've worked as waitstaff often tell me that they have to force this smile when, for instance, a customer thinks they're being original by saying, my beer glass has a hole in the bottom. Hilarious. But it did stand out to me when I first moved here because in Britain, not only do waitstaff not usually smile, but you don't normally see them for about an hour, ironically to give you personal space.
And British people in general aren't as likely to smile at strangers. Actually, given our dental makeup, that's probably how we keep crime down.
A smile in America says, I'm friendly, I'm approachable, and I'm in no way here to sell you double glazing. Actually, it can mean that. And finally, the Midwestern goodbye, a phenomenon that's so drawn out it makes Return of the King look like a short.
My father-in-law had it down to a science.
First of all, there's the initial goodbye. This is where somebody claps their hands together and says,
well, we better get going.
And this is a lie. The only thing that gets going is more conversation.
Because next, we enter the standing in the kitchen phase. This is where everybody pretends to be leaving, but instead forms a conversation huddle by the fridge. Then comes the porch descent. And there's no waving here. This is where you all finally migrate to the door, but not before bonding over, I don't know, grandma's recent bowel issues. And just when you think you're free, it's time for the driveway chat while standing next to your car, hoping they don't notice your bumper stickers.
And finally, the reverse goodbye. This is when you pull out of the driveway with your windows down,
exchanging emotional words like you're in a Hallmark movie.
Call me when you get there. Tell your mom I said hi. Steve, drive safe. And just like that, it's 2 a.m.
Okay, this one actually is accurate.
Now, part of me almost didn't include the Midwestern goodbye on this list.
After all, the theme of this video is
secret rules of being an American,
not Midwestern.
And then it occurred to me that while this is a Midwestern stereotype, it's probably something that people experience in other parts of the country too. Let me know if your family does this, and until the next video, goodbye. Actually, no, that's not it. If you have not yet seen my video about American invention...
Yeah, I was going to say, if I ended up in that situation of a goodbye like that, I'm just getting off.
I was just thinking when Declan and Gabby come in and like we're trying to like bundle everything up for them.
It's
to
always
put
the
in
kids
car.
at the end of the hall.
Yeah, and then we open the door and normally it would be like bye, and we're just like bye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Double locks.
Yeah. Literally. I guess there are secret rules of being an American than
Yeah.
personal space. I guess that's probably more of a thing over there.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're trying to get on the public transport over here, you ain't getting any of that.
No, you're almost kissing someone next
Yeah,
to you.
pretty much.
You have to have good body odour.
Yeah, yeah. And that's never normally the case
No.
on trams.
Especially with the teeth as well.
Yeah, anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry for the different setup and everything today, but we still wanted to get some out for you.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Cheers.